very fortunate in my life to get the opportunity to spend a year in Australia. My mom participated in a teacher exchange when I was, their school year is different because I was in summer there is winter here and winter, you know. So I went for their school year, so I left in the middle of my school year and came back in the middle of another school year, but I was there for all year 12 there. It was probably bad timing, being that I was in high school, but you know, I've gotten over that, and now I get to say I lived in Australia for a year. So the things are, you know, it's hard. There were so many things different. Like for example, I went to a private school there because my mom exchanged to a private school. Here, the public schools are much stronger, both at the secondary education of colleges and then also elementary and secondary. Over there, the private schools actually, you know, we have we're trying to maybe get this voucher system. They already have that where private schools get a certain percentage of funding from the public sector. And so I get to see what we're trying to implement here, and I would say that's a bad thing because the public schools are not as good there as they are here. And here, private schools, usually it's some sort of contextual thing where you want a specific type of education, you know, for religious or some other reason. But the public schools are generally better here than the private schools, I think. That's just my opinion. So what was some unique things about Australia? So there were so many times where I understood what they meant because of the context. Like sometimes you guys use words that I don't know because I guess I'm old now, but they would use words and I usually could figure out what the context was, or sometimes they just pronounced it funny. And there were some words that they used that were, like some words that they used that were, I guess, naughty words, and some words that I use that aren't appropriate, but they're perfectly appropriate and are like our English, and they're perfectly inappropriate in their English. The other thing was different. So we're in Iowa and we're in the middle of the country, so we have lakes, but I was literally walking distance to the ocean, which was awesome because, and there were people in my school that, like, that's kind of their thing. They have ocean in their backyard. So instead of having a yard, they have like a little dock in the ocean. The other thing that was neat was the different kinds. So here, like our cheap food is McDonald's, hamburgers and fries. Over there, because you're so close to the ocean, you get fish and chips, which is fish and fries for like $2.50. Of course, that their dollar's different, but really cheap fish and chips. But that fish had been pulled out of the ocean that day, so we did that a lot because it was so inexpensive and so good. And I'd love to tell you more about Australia because there's so much. I was there for a year, but my time's expired, so that's my speech on Australia.